Good morning, everyone. This is our group assignment, Malaysia Folktale, 681 Cambodia. And this is our group members. This is contents. So let's go to the first part, introduction. The topic discussed in the assignment is the folktales of Malaysia. Folktales are our traditional stories, written scripts, legends passed from one area to another. Malaysia folktales were normally spread orally as little has been known about traditional manuscripts of the language separated from other origins. In Malay, the word budaya rakyat is used to describe folklore. Malaysia culture is heavily influenced by Indian traditionals, and it has been shown in its manuscripts, which is more influenced by pre-Islamic times. No more what is observed that many Malaysian folktales are certain between princes, kings, queens, and their issues. The folktales have drama, fiction, romance in them for making their readers more and more exciting. It also intends to have a moral within a message, normally stating some basic vision in it to bring a positive change in the society. The main reason for the selection of the folktale is to emphasize some basic key knowledge it has to the society regarding the elderly advice and how it affects one's course of life. We're moving in this world, and mostly we are affected by the decision that we do. But every action has some consequences. This action tends to shape our fate, and hard actions tend to destroy our prosperity, which makes us irreparable lose. It is seen that not that are tied by hands mostly are opened by teeth. In this article, we will start from this folktale, explain its implied meaning, its comparing with other stories, the social background it reflects, the narrative structures, and the value of folktale derived from it. So this is second part, summary on 681 Cambodia. This folktale narrates about a girl in a village who was not beautiful on the face. People at that time did not like her because of her physical appearance. She learned that there was a healer in the place that could solve this problem of her. So she agreed to help her with only one condition, that she will not hurt or disappoint her mother. She gets cured, and after that, she forgets that advice. Later on, she became so much arrogant and proud. Her mother soared and was heartbroken. After some time, she got sick and passed away. The girl got a curse that everyone who she will marry on the night will die. This was because scorpions and snakes emerged from her mouth at night while sleeping. 99 times she got married, and the same fate happened, that her husband was found dead in the morning. This was undone by a person which was smart. He remained awake all night, killing all the insects and snakes, and finally the curse was broken. So this is a story, and mm, this is the third part, critical analysis. First one, the significance of 681 Cambodia. The story of 681 Cambodia was prototypes in real life. For example, with the development of modern medicine, many people are obsessed with cosmetic surgery in pursuit of beauty. There are many cases of cosmetic failure. The philosophy of life reflects in this folktale still has the strong educational significance of contemporary people. It also teaches us not to be greedy, to cherish what we have now, and to cherish our relatives. For the morals of 61 Cambodia, the beauty of a person is not just appearance. There's a well-known saying in China: everyone has a heart to love beauty. People like beautiful things. Many people are more concerned about the beauty of the outside and ignore the beauty of the inside. In these folktales, 681 Cambodia feels that she looks ugly and asks the gods to help her become beautiful. She didn't realize that her inner beauty was the most important thing. She became arrogant and disobedient to her dignity and was punished in the end. And most of the men who married her were also due to her external beauty. Even if they were killed, they paid a heavy price. And Penguin is a knowledgeable person who changed the curse of 681 Cambodia and rescued her. In China, there are many folk tales about ugly women, but the narrative structure of most of the story is that although girls are ugly, they're kind-hearted or have talent. For example, the story of the ugly girl saves her father describes a story about an ugly-looking girl who used her only ingenuity to help her father tide over difficulty and was prized by the emperor. Respect parenting a human virtue. What does it mean? Respect for the elderly is an important part of Eastern culture. The elderly, dedicated to the society and family, have a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. There is an old saying in China that a family has an old person like a treasure. Respect parents is the responsibility of and an obligation of every child. In this folktale, the condition that the gods put forward to succeed one Cambodia is not to go against your mother or cause her sorrow. This also reflects the respect for the elderly in Malay culture. The third one is keeping promises. Honestly, and trustworthiness is a foundation of a person, an enterprise, and a country, and it should be basic moral standard of each of us. Humans are social animals, and keeping promises is the most basic requirement when interacting with people. In real life, if you don't keep your promise, your reputation will be damaged or you will be punished by law. In this story, 61 Cambodia suffering in, as one of its arrangements, and the other is that he broke his promise and was severely punished. Um, okay, this is the second part of the third part of the third. Um, Comparing with other folktales. Mm, Folktale is a kind of oral literature. It is a kind of narrative story that tells the variations relationships between people in a symbolic form. The object matter is an wide-ranging and full of fantasy, containing subnature and white social elements. The plots are exaggerated and mostly showed people good wishes. It has a function of entertainment, of education for readers. Malaysian folk tales mainly include animal stories, magic stories, funny stories, and interspersed stories. According to the classification methods, 681 Cambodian is a magical story with strong education significance. Magic stories generally tell the stories of um, ordinary people, and most of the protagonists of the story will face difficulties and need to help the magical gods. There are roughly two reasons why the gods help the protagonist. The protagonist has good qualities of kindness or hard work, or he needs to keep his promise and agree to a condition of the god. When the protagonist loses his good qualities of break his promise, he will be punished. This kind of story is also common in Chinese and Western folktales, such as the story of the three wishes in Grimm's fairy tales. Compared with the animal stories, this kind of ordinary people stories are close to people live and have greater education significance. So, analysis from different perspectives. The story also reflects the inequality in the relationship between the sexes in the early Malaysian society. Women need to depend on men in the families and societies, and women in districts need to be redeemed by men to live a happy life. 681 Cambodia tried to change her appearance. She tried to the mountains and rivers for 3 days and experienced 99 days of treatment. After many twists and turns, it finally came a successful conclusion with the help of Panclim. This shows that we may have begun to have a sense of resistance, but they will lack the weakening of female consciousness. This is also reflected in the image of princess in Western fairy tales. Both Snow White and Sleeping Beauty need the help of the princess. Mm, so finally, the conclusion. Okay, um, for the concept brief, folk stories are one of the important categories in the folk literature. In a broad sense, folk stories are oral literature, words with fictions, content created and disseminated by the working people, and are the general names of all folk postworks. Folk stories is the kind narrative stories which tell the relationships between people in the form of strange language and symbols since ancient times. Folk stories start from life itself, but but are not limited to the actual situations and what people think is true and reasonable. They often contain natural whimsical elements made features a long time ago, often accompanied by the cause of human growth and enduring oral oral communication. Folk tales are mostly oral communication. The plot is exaggerated and full of fantasy, most of which show people's great wishes. The content often contains supernatural and whimsical elements. Folk tales, like all good works, start from life itself, but they are not limited to the actual situations and what people think is true and reasonable. Mm, Finally, is a value. The value of entertainment education. Um, the entertainment education value of the story is obviously both for adults and for children. Art value. Folk stories have artistic characteristics based on real life and full of fantasy. Its consist expression and vivid structures skills have great artistic appreciation value. Cultural value. Folk literature is an important research object of folklore, which has the nature of general literature, but it is difficult from the special literature of writers as a reflection of people's life and thought. Folk stories is the important materials to start people's way of life and ideological situation and its development course. Mm, that's all for our assignment, and this is the reference we have use it. And thank you. Have a good day.